Good, happy Thursday evening, October 8th, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday evening, so let's begin. First up, we begin with COVID-19 updates. New Hampshire COVID-19 pandemic information, graphs, and case data. Let's take a look at that right now. And here is a look at that information for all of you right now. There are 8,800 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 7,542,059 number of people in the United States have tested positive. 448 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 745 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 652 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. And now let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where current cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 80. And let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where total cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 2170. Now let's take a look at these three charts here. Let's start with the first chart here. New cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple. Daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalization. And in the red, deaths. And let's take a look at this chart here. Current cases in the purple. Total current COVID-19 cases. And in the orange, current hospitalization. Let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases. In the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalization. Red, deaths, and blue, recovered. And now let's take a look at this chart here. Age group of cases. Female and male of cases. And risk information. Now let's take a look at this chart here. Infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. And let's take a look at this chart here. Deaths, percent of New Hampshire population, race/ethnicity of cases, and hospitalizations. And a reminder, your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, difficult breathing, chills, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Number of New Hampshire hotel, restaurant closures lower than past 2 years. Governor says federal relief funds may have kept more businesses afloat. Despite the economy and economic damage inflicted by COVID-19 pandemic, restaurants and hotel closures in New Hampshire are running lower than they have over the past 2 years, Governor Chris Sununu said on Thursday. The hospitality industry has been hit hard by mandated closures in the early stages of the pandemic and limits on capacity and other restrictions as the economy reopened. But Sununu said it would appear that the closures are pacing lower than previous years. Based on examination of business that collect meals and retail taxes, 357 New Hampshire businesses have closed this year, Sununu said. In 2019, 479 such businesses closed. In 2018, 517 closed. Even factoring that this year is only 77% complete, the rate of closures is still lower. Sununu said the state's spending of federal relief funds might have helped businesses stay open. He said the grants have allowed businesses to keep employing people and have helped keep the economy strong. The governor also noted that the state's unemployment rate has dropped to 4.1%. It was 2.4% just before the pandemic hit and jumped to 17.1% after much of the economy shut down. Nashua health officials urge anyone who attended Gate City Church to get tested for COVID-19. 7 cases linked to events held at church. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
Outreach has been a member of Bellwether Community Credit Union since 2013. One of the other banks wasn't responsive when we were applying for our PPP loan.
City officials just held a press conference about this. They're asking anyone who attended that church late last month to get a COVID-19 test today. The Nashua Health Director says people who attended a multi-day prayer service from September 18th to the 28th need to monitor for signs and symptoms, as well as getting a COVID-19 test as soon as possible. State health officials have notified people who had close contact with those infected, but they want to notify others who may have been near them as well. Several testing sites are now being offered right now. Information about locations, times, and numbers to call to schedule an appointment can be found on the city's website.
We know that we can do this, Nashua. We've had a low incidence rate and percent positive rate for months. We also expected that during this time of year, the fall, that we could see an increase in our cases. We also know that we can work together to help mitigate and keep those numbers down. So we're asking for your help right now.
The city's health director says people can call the city's hotline at 603-589-3456 if they have further questions about this outbreak. Reporting live in Manchester, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. More than 1/5 of New Hampshire is now in extreme drought. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer. Also, more than 95% of the state experiencing severe drought or worse.
I joined Bellwether Community Credit Union 2 months ago. When we first got closed down, I was afraid that we...
Got some new details on the drought conditions, right? It has become a regular Thursday morning thing. At about 8:30 a.m., the U.S. Drought Monitor does update our drought situation for us, and we have watched the extreme area of severe drought in the New Hampshire area go from about 10% of the state now to currently 22% of the state. This means that the rainfall that we got last week, because it's measured from Tuesday to Tuesday, was about 2.5 inches of rainfall for some northwestern sections of the state, but was only around a half inch for southern areas. So while it was beneficial for some, you can notice that this is just going to be a long-term situation. We are likely carrying this in through the autumn and probably through the winter before we would need some spring rainfall to really alleviate the very large deficit we have. Rainfall deficits for the calendar year so far ranging anywhere between 8 to as much as 11 inches of rain and melted snow behind a normal year's pace. So that's where we are, and again, we're looking for rainfall across the area, and there is a chance of maybe an inch of rainfall as we get into early next week, but it is just a chance.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Drought conditions got worse in New Hampshire over the last week, despite some beneficial rain that fell a week ago. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor's report released Thursday morning, 21.99% of the state is in an extreme drought. The areas include Belknap, Carroll, Hillsborough, Merrimack, Rockingham, and Strafford counties across most of southeastern New Hampshire. The vast majority of the rest of the state is in a severe drought. The southwestern part of the state that borders Vermont is in a moderate drought, while several of western Sullivan County has seen drought conditions improve to the point where the area is considered abnormally dry. The report includes rainfall measured between last Tuesday and this past Tuesday, so all the rainfall last Wednesday did not factor into this report, but it was not enough to improve conditions. This is the worst drought in New Hampshire since 2016, when several areas of the state experienced an extreme drought from August through December. New Hampshire wasn't out of that drought altogether until May of 2017. Tonight at 7 p.m. on ABC, Matter of Fact Listening Tour, The Hard Truth About Bias. Let's take a listen to that video right now in promo.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota compact and subcompact tractors.
Okay, sorry about that. I guess we do not have a video promo for this. Sorry about that. Matter of Fact Listening Tour, hosted by Solida O'Brien, centers on urgent conversation about race, equality, and justice. That is tonight at 7 p.m. on ABC. And that is it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching this evening edition. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and goodbye, everyone.